everyone, heartily welcome to Rendezvous with Roohi, brought to you by Instafeed and edX TV. We have our guest today with us, Ms. Shiva Bhola. She's the parent to Arnav Bhola, a student of grade 9 from DPS RK Puram. Heartily welcome, Ms. Shiva.
Thank you so much, Roohi, for welcoming me on this platform, which will guide me through my child's career and his good education in terms of education post class 12th.
Certainly.
Thank you.
We'll be happy to take your questions.
My son is in class 9th and he wants to take computer engineering as part of his main subject ahead. So during this process, we are going around meeting several counselors and thinking of going for counseling. So, but my idea of question firstly that arises is, if the child should be doing computer engineering in India or should they be doing it abroad?
Certainly, very nice question, Shiva. I would be happy to answer this. First of all, it's a good time for parents and students in this present scenario to reach out for, the counselors or the mentor support, because today when we are talking of the good universities, be it in India or abroad, the profiling of the student is playing a strong role in it. So that is when, you have to start working on the profiling from the grade 9 onwards on your student to work around, keeping in mind which domain he's looking to pursue in higher education. So coming down to your question, which is the good place to pursue BTech Computer Science, honestly speaking, Shiva, today when we are talking of even the Indian education, it is at par to the global education. So it's basically depending on many other factors also to decide what program and what country you are deciding for student to pursue in. So if you want to even take the engineering in India in terms of computer engineering or maybe artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, there are many of these specializations today even available in India when we are talking of under BTech Computer Science. So that is where your pocket size is one where you have to look around, which is the best fit for your child and your the program you are getting in. Secondly, what is the vision? Because say for example we are talking about abroad, and when we are talking of abroad, it could be even Canada. So I've seen many parents and many students, they opt for Canadian universities keeping in mindset that there is a PR opportunity, and that's something which is the more excitement they have for the PR instead of only the education. So it all goes what parents exactly and the child exactly is looking forward to. Is it only your education or is it something more attached to it? But certainly today in India also we have good programs. Instead we have some collaborated programs wherein student can be here in India for 2 years and go for the abroad the education for 2 years. So there are programs which are even giving them the abroad exposure also, as well as being in India, it turns out to be more cost effective opportunity also.
Okay. So keeping in mind the cost effectiveness, so if I would look for universities abroad, so I've heard that between UK and US, apparently in US the system is more flexible, like we can change our majors in 2 years or so. Even if the child is not sure about the subject, I think US is the only country that allows us to do so. Is that true?
No, there are many the countries today when we are talking of to give the majors and minors as a combination to the students when we are talking of in abroad as well as in India also. Since we are talking today even in India for liberal education, so there are many options given to the students that opting along with the science or the BTech program, they can even opt for some other the humanities subject also coming in, like BTech with psychology or other combinations. So there are options in India and abroad collectively today talking of with minors and majors to make a combination. So it's a very flexible education today when we are talking of holistically wherever we had to go. It's just about we need to be clear with some certain aspects that what is the right fit for a child in understanding what is the skill set, what is the teaching pedagogy of that particular country or that particular university, what is the climatic conditions. There are multiple aspects which we as an evaluate for the child and then suggest which country and which program, which university should be the right fit for the student.
Indian universities, what is the profile building that you would suggest me to start with when a child is just in class 9th?
Very nice question, Shiba. Yeah. So when we are talking of profile building means which is the extracurricular activities of the student. For example, his participations to debates, MUNs, his sports, his additional some short-term certification programs, his opportunity to work on something as in for community services, somewhere he's working with NGOs, he's taking some volunteer aspects to take some responsibility in the classroom. So that all is comprised under the profiling. Even if you talk about today, we have certain online as well as offline internships available for these students. We have certain fellowships for them. Research programs also are somewhere the student can even enroll in. So the student's profile, it all depends what additionally he's done, keeping aside his normal academic count, grade 9 onwards. So what extra mile he's gone to pursue his either non-curricular activities, or probably to build his profile, to build his personality, how he's good in theatre. So it depends on student to student.
Okay, so this is about the Indian universities, but how different is it in terms of profiling with the universities abroad that my child needs to work on?
Shiba, there is majorly just the additional you could say some the exams, or the entrance exams they need to prepare of. Like for example, if you need to go abroad, they need to prepare for IELTS. That's something which is mandate, or TOEFL exams, or PTE to talk of. It all depends which country the child is looking at. Majorly we talk of IELTS because that's majorly accepted by many of the countries today. Along with that, when I'm talking of entrance, majorly is like SAT exam. Today, if I talk of in Indian education system also, top universities are accepting SAT scores, and they are even giving the scholarships on the scores of SAT here. So SAT and IELTS, these are two major entrances where we talk of if a student is looking to go abroad or looking for anywhere to crack the admissions with top universities, should have these two credentials in their hands.
So to prepare for IELTS and SAT, what are the important characteristics that the child needs to work on, apart from, of course, in 10th and 12th there's a lot of studies, and there's a lot of academic pressure in terms of getting good marks in boards as well, which is taken like as an important aspect for admissions abroad. So what do you think should be the platform for IELTS and SAT?
Shiba, when we are talking of IELTS, IELTS has a tenure where the expiry date comes along with it in a way. So for IELTS, we normally prefer a child to make an attempt before the application, so that he's having enough of time to prepare, and even the score is valid till the time the applications are made and the offer letters do come in. But when we are talking of SAT, we normally prefer the student should make an attempt in grade 11, because that's where he doesn't have the pressure of his other competitive exams or his board exams, and he can prepare well about for SAT. There are certain students who miss out in attempting the SAT exams in grade 11, but certainly at that point of time they have an opportunity to even make an attempt in grade 12. Along with that, SAT, if you have taken in grade 11, even gives the edge to a student, because say for example he's not able to score better, or he's not able to score as much he was expecting to score in SAT in grade 11 attempt. So he has a time to maybe re-attempt in SAT. And the best part is whatever best score is there with the child in SAT, only that score is to be mentioned in the application. So he has the time, and he has an opportunity to improve his score if he's making the earlier attempts.
So what is the time frequency between one SAT and the other SAT that the child can give? Is there a gap?
There are multiple, the chances given in a year. But normally, if you look around, so every, in a year we nearly have 2 to 3 attempts for SAT for a child. So if he's making one attempt, say in grade 11, he can even make a second chance attempt in grade 12. And also talking about SAT, it is not that difficult test to be prepared. It's majorly the curriculum which is covered till grade 10 of a normal CBSE pattern if we talk of a student. But the only thing is the tips and tricks to be learned and practiced to attempt that test, because it's more on the applied, the curriculum, what the student has already learned. It's more little advanced form of it, or more on the applied form of learning what they have done. So it's about how the time tenure is there, and these many questions to be attempted need to be practiced, and need some guidance of a mentors there.
Okay, so coming back to Indian universities, could you please elaborate more on the internship and the MUN that we need to take care of?
Certainly today when we are talking of majorly the CBSE good schools in India are making their students attempt in MUNs, or they have their regular, the competitions happening, even Olympiads when we talk of. So they can enroll in their own schools when they happen, to get a chance to make an attempt to these programs. When we are talking of, the profile building part, they do play a strong role, because they are even not only at the school level, they are even at state level, national level. So that's where the students profiling, is more elated.
So I've also heard that working with NGOs and these charitable institution really makes an upliftment in your profile building. How does that help in terms of making your profile better?
Certainly, when we are talking of NGOs or community service, when we are talking of abroad applications, this is one very important aspect which they look around in the foreign applications. But when we are talking of Indian applications also, if we have somewhere, the community service opportunity to serve, certainly it adds a value to our profiling. And honestly speaking, in India, we people have that community service, the activities which we normally do regularly every year. It's something which is in our blood, but the only thing is we don't get that acknowledgement of that, the community service. But certainly when we have to make an application, so that's where the foreign universities do ask for some sort of, certification that you have done this activity. So we ask students to arrange them. And sometimes they get engaged with the NGOs, wherein they certainly, get involved for 2 to 3 months or 6 months and do regular service. And that's something which is even, bringing them more grounded, developing their, even a persona, keeping them more humane.
Thank you so much, Roohi. For now, my son is in class 9th and you've answered most of my questions. It's been a great opportunity to have a chat with you.
Pleasure.
And it's definitely going to lead me in a guided manner for my child. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shiva. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you, everyone. I believe you all also had some, the doubts to clear from this session. If you still have any doubts, any queries, I'll be happy to answer them. Just mark your questions in the comment box and stay tuned to watch us in the coming week. Happy to meet you every week and take up your new questions. Stay tuned to know who's our next guest coming week. Thank you.